next few minutes, we are going to answer one of the most important questions of our time. What actually makes you different from an artificial intelligence? And I want to be honest with you from the start. This is harder to answer than it used to be. A machine can now write a poem that moves you. It can pass the exams that took you years to prepare for. It can hold a conversation, crack a joke, and even comfort a grieving stranger with the right words. So the uneasy question arrives on its own. If it can do all of that, what exactly is left that is uniquely yours? Let us reason this out carefully, from first principles, and I think the answer will surprise you and maybe even reassure you. For most of history, the difference felt obvious. Machines could calculate, but they could not create. They could follow orders, but they could not converse. There was always a comfortable line, and we stood safely on the human side of it. But in just a few short years, that line has been quietly erased. Task after task we once called uniquely human, thinking, writing, painting, composing, has fallen to the machine. And each time we retreat and draw a new line a little further back. Well, it cannot really be creative. It cannot really understand. So before we retreat again, let us stop and ask the real question. Not what tasks can it do, but what, if anything, is actually different about what is happening inside. So let us open the box and see what these systems really do. It is less mysterious than it seems. At its heart, a modern AI, the kind behind a chatbot, is a prediction machine. It was trained by reading a truly staggering amount of human text. Books, articles, conversations, the equivalent of tens of thousands of human lifetimes of reading. And from all of that, it learned one core skill breathtakingly well. Given some words, predict the word most likely to come next. That is, at bottom, what it is doing when it talks to you. Guessing the next word, and the next, and the next, each one flowing naturally from the last. It is autocomplete, raised to an almost unimaginable power. And that simple idea is enough to produce essays, code, and poetry, which raises a genuinely deep question. Is predicting language the same thing as understanding it? The philosopher John Searle captured this with a brilliant thought experiment called the Chinese room. Imagine you are locked in a room. You do not speak a word of Chinese, but you have an enormous rulebook. Slips of paper with Chinese writing come in under the door. You look up the incoming symbols in your book, follow the rules, and copy out the symbols it tells you to, then pass them back out. To the Chinese speaker outside, your replies are perfect, fluent, intelligent. They are certain they are talking to someone who understands Chinese, but you, inside the room, understand nothing. You are just shuffling symbols by their shape without understanding a single word of what any of it means. And here is Searle's unsettling point. That room is exactly what a computer is doing. This is the heart of the whole matter. The machine manipulates symbols perfectly, following patterns, without necessarily grasping their meaning. It has the form of language, its shape and flow, which we call syntax. But does it have the meaning underneath, which we call semantics? When you read the word fire, you do not just know which words tend to follow it. You feel the heat, you sense the danger, you picture the flames. The word connects to a whole world of real experience. Now, defenders of AI push back, and fairly. They ask, how do you know your own brain is not also, at bottom, just a very sophisticated pattern matcher, shuffling its own kind of symbols? And that is a genuinely hard question, which we will come back to. But it points us toward the first real difference, meaning. Think carefully about a single word, apple. To you, that word is anchored to a lifetime of real experience, the crisp sound of the first bite, the weight of it in your hand, its smell, its taste, a memory of an orchard or a childhood kitchen. The word is grounded in a whole world of things you have touched and tasted and lived. But to an AI trained only on text, the word apple has never been anything but other words. It knows apple sits near red, and fruit, and tree, and pie. It is a point in a vast web of language, connected only to more language. It has never tasted a single thing. This is called the grounding problem. The machine has the entire map of human words, but it has never once set foot in the territory those words describe. Now we arrive at the deepest difference of all, and the one science understands the least. Right now, as you watch this, there is something it is like to be you. You are having an experience. You feel the temperature of the room, a flicker of curiosity, the color of the light. There is an inner movie playing for an audience of one. Philosophers call this consciousness, and the mystery of it, the hard problem. Here is the question. When an AI processes information, is there anything it is like to be that machine on the inside? Is there any inner experience at all? Or is it all just silent computation in the dark, with no one home to feel it? As far as we can tell, and we cannot be fully certain, the answer is that there is nothing it is like to be a machine. It computes, but it does not experience. And there is a reason your mind is so different, buried deep in your history. Your intelligence did not appear in order to write essays or answer trivia. It evolved over hundreds of millions of years for one relentless purpose: to keep a fragile, living body alive. Every thought you have is shaped by that inheritance. You get hungry, you feel cold, you flinch from pain. You are tied every second to the needs of a body that can be hurt and that will one day die. Your mind is not floating free. It is the control center of a living creature fighting to survive. An AI has none of this. It has no body, no hunger, no pain, no fear. It was not forged in the struggle to stay alive. And that, it turns out, changes everything about what its intelligence is even for. Because here is what follows from having a body that can die. Things matter to you. You care. You can win, and you can lose. You can be hurt, and you can be healed. You love people you are terrified of losing. The stakes are real, and they are everywhere. This is where meaning itself comes from the fact that you have something to lose. Now consider the machine. When it answers your question, nothing whatsoever is at stake for it. It does not prefer to exist rather than not. It does not care if it succeeds or fails. It cannot be disappointed or hopeful or afraid. To it, every outcome is exactly as weightless as every other. And a mind for which nothing matters is a profoundly different thing from a mind like yours for which almost everything does. But now, let us be honest and turn the mirror on ourselves, because it would be too easy and a little dishonest to feel smug here. Remember that question the AI defenders asked: is your brain too just a prediction machine? And the uncomfortable truth is, in large part, yes. Your brain is constantly predicting the next word someone will say, the next step as you walk, what you will see when you turn your head. Much of what you do on autopilot, running patterns you learned long ago without any conscious understanding at all. So the line between you and the machine is not as clean or as flattering as we would like. We share more with it than our pride enjoys admitting, which means the real difference must lie not in the raw computation, but in something quieter underneath it. Take creativity, the last fortress we like to defend. Surely creating is uniquely human, but look closely and it gets murky. When a machine makes a new image, it is recombining patterns from millions of human works it has absorbed. And here is the humbling part. So, in a way, do we? Every artist is shaped by everything they have ever seen. Nothing is created from pure nothing. So we cannot honestly say the machine merely copies while we create from the void. The difference is subtler. When a human creates, it usually comes from somewhere, from a wound, a longing, a joy, a life actually lived. The art is an expression of an inner experience. The machine produces something that looks like expression, but with no inner experience behind it to express. It is the difference between a message and an echo that only sounds like one. So let us gather what we have found, honestly, on raw intelligence, on knowledge, on the ability to perform tasks. The line between you and the machine is blurring and may keep blurring. That contest, we might not win, and that is all right, because it was never where the real difference lived. The firmest lines we have found are these: you experience. There is an inner world, a felt life, that as far as we know, the machine simply does not have. You are grounded. Your mind is rooted in a real, lived, breathing body, and you care, because you can lose and suffer and die. Things genuinely matter to you, meaning, experience, and stakes, not processing power. That is where you and the machine still fundamentally part ways. And this, I think, is quietly liberating, because we have spent so long measuring our worth by our output, how smart we are, how productive, how much we can do, and a machine is now beating us at more and more of that every single day. But this whole journey has shown us that our output was never the point. What makes you you is not that you can calculate or write or remember. It is that you are here, experiencing your one brief life, that things matter to you, that you can love and lose and care in a universe where the machine feels nothing at all. The rise of artificial intelligence is not erasing what makes us human. It is holding up a mirror and showing us clearly that it was never our intelligence that made us precious. It was our humanity. So the next time a machine dazzles you and you feel that flicker of unease, that quiet worry about what is left for us, remember what we found today. You were never in a contest of pure ability. The machine can have all the knowledge in the world, and still there will be nobody inside it for whom any of it matters. You are the one who gets to actually experience being alive, to taste the apple, not just know the word, to care and to be cared for, to have something precious and finite to lose. That is not a small thing left over after the machines take the rest. It may be the only thing that was ever truly the point. So let me leave you with this. If your worth was never really about how much you can do, then what would change if you started to measure your life by how deeply you experience it instead? Tell me in the comments. And if you love questions that quietly hand you back to yourself, subscribe to First Principles Talk. We're just getting started.